Okay, so my exhibit is on Lake Union. It's a natural formed lake in Seattle, and it's known all over the West Coast for its industrialism. There's all kinds of businesses on it, all kinds of, people living on it, and I'm focusing on the development of the industrialism of Lake Union. So the first company to develop on Lake Union was Boeing in 1914. Boeing made seaplanes on Lake Union, planes that take off and land on the water. Nowadays, a different company makes and flies seaplanes, but Boeing was the first one to invent that. So one of the other very unique things about Lake Union is that they have houseboats, houses floating on the water, and people actually live in them. So the first houseboat was created in 1964. They passed the law in 1961 by a group of people who wanted to live on the water. And there's quite a few of them on Lake Union all around the lake. It's a pretty cool thing. I want to live in one when I grow up. Okay, so if we go back to this picture, on the left you'll see a zoomed out area of Lake Union. Now you'll see two river type things, one going into Lake Washington and one going into the Puget Sound. Now the one going into the Puget Sound on the left is called the Locks, and the one going into Lake Washington on the right is called the Montlake Cut. So the locks were used mostly during the gold rush times, when people would come from all over the country to Seattle, because Seattle is the closest city in the United States to Alaska. And what they would do is they would come to Seattle to get supplies and then use the locks to go into the ocean and sail up to Alaska for gold. So the locks were built in the early 1840s, I believe, and the Montlake Cut was built much later in the 1950s.
So, we're here at the seaplanes. As you can see, we're at the dock where they fly them, where they take off, right about here. There's actually a fire over there. As you can see, the dock is kind of burned. We're not allowed to go any further than this, but I wanted to show the planes, because if you ever come to Lake Union, you'll see planes shooting off and landing all the time on the water. And these can actually float. Those things down there, they help it float. So, yeah, this is pretty cool. We're gonna go to the next place now.
So scientists believe that Lake Union was a result of a melted glacier that ran down from the mountains and formed a lake. There is signs of Lake Union as far back as 40,000 years ago, when Native Americans first came here from Asia, and they would leave hints in their carvings on caves and such, proving that there was Lake Union 40,000 years ago. So the lake was named after Thomas Mercer in 1854, and he was the one who proposed to dig out the locks, and they honored him with naming the lake.
Still in your room.
My favorite part about Lake Union is definitely just the industrialism and the feel you get when you walk around the lake. It's just undescribable.
Oh, joys are as the sun has come again to hold you. Say